Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Wow.
Oh, you know what? I'll do it.
Wow. You're welcome.
Was that you or was that Taya?
That was not. That was me.
I'm pretty sure I just heard my girlfriend from the other room say, "Are you yelling?"
You can say yes.
She doesn't know that we do a standard meow before each episode.
It wasn't a meow. It was a wow.
Yeah, it's true.
It was like a very high pitched Owen Wilson wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait, no. She corrected me to say, "Are you meowing?"
No.
So,
I mean, yes,
she
maybe.
She, in fact, heard correctly. Anyway, welcome in, one and all, to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast with Jake, Josh, and big time meow over there, Kevin.
Yes. Wait, what are your guys' favorite Owen Wilson movies?
Wedding Crashers, for sure.
Wedding Crashers gotta be number one.
Or Zoolander.
Zoolander's pretty good too.
That's my
I think
top
he's
two.
brilliant in Meet the Parents.
Oh my god, you know what? That's a good one. Yeah, man, that's tough. Those are my top three for sure. Until you name another one, but those are my top three for sure.
Also, guilty pleasure movie that I don't think this is actually a good movie, but like I really love The Internship with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, not as good as the ones that we just mentioned, but like that one has a soft spot for me. I think it's
Yeah. Well, that was like the whole thing was like Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson haven't been in a movie together since Wedding Crashers, and now they're doing The Internship, so it was like super hyped at the time.
Yeah, no, they're a good duo. He's great. Owen Wilson's great. And there's
a Vince Vaughn movie.
Oh wait, one more for Owen Wilson. Sorry, Midnight in Paris.
I haven't seen that.
That's great. Really? God, you know what? I can't.
I still haven't seen Wicked yet either, Jake. So
yeah, I know, but that's I don't know.
I haven't seen it either.
Favorite Vince Vaughn movie. Wait,
Wedding
did we say what our episode is or what?
No, we haven't. Probably should.
Okay. Let's
gotta say the episode, then we lollygag.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Today, our Week 14 Buy Low, Sell High episode. More Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson coming soon. But before we dive into that and the actual meat of the episode, the buy lows and sell highs. Yeah. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube. We are there now. Subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you enjoy it. Also, the Discord community is the place to be. Come join there. The episodes are really where it's at. And then honestly though, like because we don't put out one every second of every day. Not that we're available every second of every day, but we're pretty available all
Some of us are.
Around the clock. Yeah. 2:22 a.m. Kevin over there. It's great because we're answering your questions pretty much all day, and definitely fantasy hockey is around the clock, so it's really important to
it never sleeps.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I know that firsthand because I wake up to text from Josh. Oh my God, I can't believe this guy fleeced me in this trade. Oh my God, my team sucks. And then lo and behold.
We've been getting a lot of my team sucks lately, so.
Yeah, it's all good. We're all having fun.
When things get scary.
We're all having fun here.
All these socials are in the podcast description as well. Should we begin with our 2 weeks ago update, and then perhaps between the buy lows and the sell highs, we talk about our favorite Vince Vaughn movie?
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, I just gotta say, I've got old school. If we're talking, old school, and then I've also got Four Christmases. We watch it every Christmas.
I love Four Christmases. Yeah, it's so good.
The scene with like where they're playing like Taboo with his like mom. Like,
I caught it with John Favreau.
Yeah. Or like the part where they're
making out on the beach. Screensaver.
I've actually never seen it.
Oh my God!
Okay, you know what? Fine. I know I will watch Four Christmases.
And then Vince Vaughn's best friend dates his mother.
Yeah, exactly.
My gosh. Okay, I have mine. It's Couples Retreat.
Oh my God, that's such a good one.
Really good too.
I saw that in the theaters.
That guy is like the funniest one-hit wonder in a movie ever. He's so funny.
He was saying a word when he was doing the yoga scene. He kept saying a word. What's the word? Do you guys remember?
Encouragement.
Oh yes, encouragement. How could I forget?
That's a banger. That was a banger of a movie.
We are banger management
certified.
Yeah. All right. Should we dive into the actual episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
I guess we can.
All right. Let's start with our 2 weeks ago update where we brag about how good we are at this because once again, we hit it out of the park. So, our buy lows from 2 weeks ago, we had Clayton Keller. Since then, 4 games played, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. I would easily say that this window has closed. Being over a point per game will do that to you. Then we had Kirill Marchenko, 5 games played, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points. Again, if you remember when we recommended him, he was at like 0.2 over the past month, and now he's at a point per game again. He's shooting again. It's again, that window probably has closed as well. And then we had Dylan Strome. We got some I got some hate for this one actually. People were saying Strome's a drop, you're an idiot, I hate you. Yep. That was all in my head, but you know, I like it. I imagined that was some of the reactions. And since then, 7 games played, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. We were right as usual. This is another window is closed. This was such a crazy buy low. Like you could have got him for peanuts, and I hope you did because
for nothing.
because now he's over a point per game again. So huge wins for our buy lows. Then our sell highs. We had Erik Karlsson. Since then, 6 games played, 0 goals, 5 assists, 5 points. And I'm highlighting 2 power play points in 6 games because at the time of the recommendation, he was at 0.5 power play points per game. Now he's at 0.3 over the past 2 weeks, which is still great. But if you remember, I prefaced him as he's still going to be someone you're happy to have on your team. He's just not going to be doing what he was doing at the time. So that one still, you could still sell high on him. I don't think the window is closed on that. He's still playing well, but also it's not a desperate move. But this other one, I love this is a huge one. Thatcher Demko, 4 games played, 0 wins, 3.99 goals against average, 0.88 save percentage. I don't know if our fans remember this, but 2 weeks ago, Thatcher Demko was the best goalie in the NHL. He had just come back from injury. He was winning all his games. Like the numbers were insane. And
he won 3. He had played 4 games coming back from injury. He won 3 out of 4 of them. He had a 1.35 goals against average and a 0.938 save percentage. And people were just like, "Oh yes, Demko's back."
Yeah,
and I was like, "No."
Yeah, and we said that this was unlike the Erik Karlsson one. This was the category of get him off your team while he's hot. And I really hope that everyone did because he has plummeted. Boat goes so down it becomes submarine. That's how far he has plummeted. Okay.
I love submarine.
I don't think anyone's taking him in a trade now. So that door has firmly closed. I hope you guys got off on that. You made that trade when you were able to. And then lastly, we have Matt Boldy. Since then, 7 games played, 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points. Again, Boldy was like the Carlsson boat where it was like, you're still going to be super happy to have him. He's still an elite player, but under a point per game versus when we recommended him 2 weeks ago, he was at almost 2 points per game. We were saying you can target a top 5 player in the league for him.
Jack Hughes.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably still
look,
can.
I don't think the window is closed, but this is more what you would. I mean, this is actually less than you would expect from him. I expect him to be over a point per game, but it's definitely more in line with what you'd expect as opposed to close to 2 points. So again, I hope people were able to pull off some crazy trades since then. But let's dive in to our this week 14 buy low, sell high. I will start with my buy low, which is Leo Carlsson. He was a sell high for the longest time at the start of the season. Jakey mentioned it, and it broke his heart. And now we've got Carlsson, who's been pretty awful lately. He's averaging 0.46 points per game, 0.15 power play points over the past month, 0.2 points per game, and 0.2 power play points over the past 2 weeks. So all his points in the past 2 weeks have been power play points, and it's like 1 point. And compared to the start of the season when he was the best player in the NHL, he was literally ranked number 1 in most fantasy leagues. So we know he has that dog in him or that duck in him, but he's not doing it lately. So the Ducks as a whole are in a tailspin, having won only 2 of their last 10 games. The coach is shuffling around the even strength and power play lines, trying to fix the problem, and nobody has been safe from this line blender, not even Carlsson. There were times when he got bumped off line 1, got bumped off power play 1, but for now he's back there. His line mates have also been constantly changing, with him currently playing with Cutter Gauthier and Alex Killorn on the first line. The power play is also a mess, having only scored 3 out of 27 in the past 10 games. Despite all of this, the Ducks are still 3rd in their division, and they still have their sights on the playoffs. We mentioned the Ducks as huge overperformers at the start of the year, including Leo Carlsson, but now they've overcorrected, and they should not be this bad. If you can get Carlsson for cheap, it could be huge when he turns it around. I'd still expect him to be point per game rest of the season, or at least 0.9. Here's some good one-for-one targets. I'm looking at Dylan Strome, Sam Bennett, Ryan O'Reilly, Brock Nelson.
So I think we need to introduce a new terminology to this episode. There's the banger management Cinderella story, where they go from a buy low to a sell high, and I think we could call it the reverse Cinderella story here, when he goes from
The
a
reverse
sell
Cinderella.
high to a buy low. That's sad stuff, to be honest. I mean, it's
And then you've got like
you
the
know,
Jake
I
Sanderson where he goes like buy low, sell high, buy. You got the yo-yo, you know?
yeah, exactly. The Cinderella roller coaster.
Exactly. As long as Cinderella's involved.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. She like Jake Sanderson basically turned into a pumpkin at this point because that's how the movie goes. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So this is great. I don't want to dive too much into it with my answer because this kind of leads into what mine's going to be for my buy low. The main thing I kind of want to focus on is that I think your targets are fantastic. Sam Bennett,
I know that's
I
the
have
one.
him. He's really done well. And then if T'Chuk comes back in the next week or two, I mean, I think he's just going to get better and better. Sorry, not better. My bad. He's going to not regress as much as I think he is without T'Chuk. So considering his really safe for shots and hits, like I still really like him. But yes, if someone offered me Carlsson for Bennett, I would take it. It's tight though. The other ones though, slam dunk. Easy, huge win, slam dunk. Really like it. It's not exactly a Cinderella story because he's technically not an official sell high, but Dylan Strome, like as we can see, he's been on fire lately, and then he was a buy low 2 weeks ago, right? So something like that. Nelson O'Reilly, if you can make that trade, I love it. And I'm gonna get more into my opinion on the Ducks soon, but I agree with everything he said.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love Leo Carlson as a buy low. I think for everything you highlighted. If you want to talk about the targets, I love Leo Carlson over all of these guys rest of season. I do think you might have a hard time selling these guys because some of them are names that the production is there, but the name value doesn't match. Whereas I think Leo Carlson, I think he built up his name value throughout the season. I think the start of the season was so hot that people are putting him at like that level of like pedigree of like he's a top 3 or 4 round pick type of thing, right? And even though lately has been really bad, I think he still holds a lot of that value, even though his production has been bad. So you might have a hard time with like the Ryan O'Reillys and the Brock Nelsons, who are like guys that are like slightly better than waiver wire, it feels like, even though their production is way better than that. But I think Dylan Strome and Sam Bennett, you can probably pull off. And like we always say, like, we're trying to give you 1-for-1 targets that we think are feasible, but you never really want to be pulling off a 1-for-1 trade. And all of these things are way more digestible in a 2-for-2 or a bigger package. So,
Yeah.
and I think all of these guys in a package are very feasible. So I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly think Sam Bennett can get done 1-for-1
Yeah.
with what he's been doing and
Yeah.
with the Kachuk coming
Yeah.
back.
And he
I
has
think
name
that'd be
value too.
That's it, exactly. So he was the one that I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going too high with that or if like, I was going too low with the others, but he's definitely the one I think is the most realistic, and I'd be happy with Carlson.
Yeah. It'd be really tough to get rid of him based on how good he's been. But
Yeah. Yeah, I see you thinking about it
yeah.
though. I think if you
Jakey,
sent
I
him
Jakey
would
like,
do
never
it.
wants to sell high. I don't think I've ever seen Jakey do a sell high.
well, he sold high on
I
Macklin.
Did he?
I
No,
mean, there's
not
no way
that
Celebri's
great.
going to get better than what he's been doing.
But is he going to get worse?
I hope not.
Macklin's just great. Can I ask one more, especially after what he did last night? What about Zibanejad?
Yeah, that's a good one, especially because of the Zibanejad's playoff schedule. I think I'm still taking Carlson over him. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he got 5 points
I
in the
know.
Winter Classic. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's maybe that's skewing his stats, but I would take Carlson as well, and I think it's
Yeah.
not impossible because there's a lot of name value there.
I think that that can also like really get done, especially after the night he just had. Like that's perfect timing to try and pull that off. I will say again, they have a great playoff schedule, so it always sucks to kind of downgrade
Yeah.
playoff schedule. But if the value's there, it's still worth it. So I would definitely do that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one
All
of
right,
those
Kevin,
things that
who
I
you
think
got for us?
Leo Carlson. I was gonna say I think Leo Carlson is better than Zibanejad, but I want to do a different trade. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, my trade, my buy low. I wonder if it's going to be a surprise for some people. If you have him on your team, it's not going to be a surprise, but maybe you'll be happy I'm talking about him. But listen, I got some goalie whisperer to me. I'm telling you guys. I feel like the start sits and the trade targets. I feel like I'm always the one mentioning the goalies, and it's always some crazy stats. But I'm going to talk about the one and only Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets. Now listen, Hellebuyck I feel like has been on this list before as a buy low when he was injured and he was more easily acquirable because he was going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. And because right at this moment, the Winnipeg Jets are the worst team in the league. Like in the NHL, they are 32 out of 32. They have no points. I think they have 34 points on the season. It's the worst out of the whole league. Would you going into the season believe that the Winnipeg Jets, the President's Trophy winners of last year, Connor Hellebuyck won everything last year, and now they're last place in the whole NHL, not going to make the playoffs, and he's playing like one of the worst goalies in the league? Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, it does actually.
Yeah.
There's only one person who had them ranked so low, and even Jakey didn't have them.
Jakey had them ranked at a controversial spot, and it was 5th.
Yeah.
So that's all that to say, the projections are not lining up with what we expect from this team, the quality we know that they have, and the players that we know that they have. And I think right now, like, I'm setting the stage for the team is this bad. They won't be this bad forever. When they are not this bad forever, Connor Hellebuyck will bounce back. Like right now, if you look at his stats, over the last month, he has 1 win. That's one singular Uno. If you're playing Uno. His save percentage is at 894. I don't think it's normal to see Connor Hellebuyck below a 900 save percentage. On the season, he's at 907. Last year, he was at 925. This year's at 894, right? Over this last stretch. So already you're saying like, okay, like the numbers are backing up the fact that like he's not really playing well right now. He's still one of the best goalies in the league. He's finding his footing after his injury. Like people were worried about, okay, like, am I worried buying low on Connor Hellebuyck while he's injured, like the knee and everything? Like, is that a worry in my mind? I was not worried about the injury, but I also didn't expect Winnipeg to become the worst team in the league after he comes back from injury too. And I think that gives you a bigger window of opportunity right now to buy Connor Hellebuyck again, and you could potentially get the best goalie in fantasy on your roster for cheap right now. Listen, I'm not saying he's going to do what he did last year. I think on this podcast, even in the preseason, we were saying we don't expect him to do what he was going to do last year. It was an exceptional year. He's never going to have a year like that again. But he's also not going to have a year like what he's been doing over the last month. So if you're in a league where the Hellebuyck owner is struggling in the standings, I think you have a prime opportunity right now to get him on your roster. And if you have goalies like, Ilya Sorokin, who is just coming back from injury, but before that it was really strong. Dustin Wolf, who is on a really hot stretch and like a little bit of a sell high himself right now with Calgary actually getting some good performances. Or if you have UC Saros, who we highlighted as a sell high in recent weeks as well. Joseph Wall, I feel like right now with Toronto, like, Matthews is clicking. Maybe Toronto's going to win more games, but Anthony Solars is on the horizon. If you have the opportunity to sell any of these guys, it might maybe not 1-for-1 because Connor Hellebuyck just has too much of that name value, but of like maybe a Saros plus a player gets it done, and I would strongly consider that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I was the lowest easily on Winnipeg, and I still, I mean, now if they end up 5th, like, it means that they've performed well between now and the end of the season, and I still think they're gonna make a push for the playoffs. Like I did not predict them to be this bad, obviously. And what I think is that in the years past, they've relied on Hellebuyck tremendously to be their saving grace, and sometimes you just can't do that every single year. Like in the past 3 or 4 years, I remember owning him 1 year in a different league where he was abysmal, and
It's like that COVID year.
Maybe it was the COVID year. Yeah, and other than that, he's been great. So to me, it's kind of like I still think he's a top 5 to 7 goalie, and you can pay less than that. You can pay like in a top 15 guy, like the guys you named. So that's where I see it. Do you think he's still like the top 3 though?
I feel like top 5 is probably fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not putting him above Shesterkin or Ottinger,
Vasilevsky.
Yeah, like those 3 are easily above him at this point. But like,
yeah,
are you taking him over like Colorado's goalies? Probably, with their injury history and the fact they're splitting.
One of the targets that I had was Gustafsson of Minnesota because he's also been on fire right now. So I'm like, he's a little bit of a sell high. but I didn't want to put. I think if you're giving Gustafson and Hellebuyck right now, like you make that a 2-for-2 trade, like you should be getting a better player in return, type of
Yeah.
thing.
So I think
Yeah.
my one note, like I agree with everything you're saying. I think Hellebuyck's a great buy low. I do think your targets are a bit too low. Like I don't think there's any world
Yeah.
where Sorokin hasn't even played yet in like 2 weeks, so I don't think that's getting done. Wolf and Wool, I don't see any chance of that getting done. Saros is the only one where I'm like, okay, you could do Saros plus for Hellebuyck with how he's been playing. Like I could see that happening. But the other ones, I think you're just aiming too low. Like I'm even wondering, I'm like, I'm a Kemper owner. I'm like, should I be sending,
hmm
like some sort of
I
two
was
for two with
thinking.
Kemper for Hellebuyck?
Well, listen, I did definitely go lower on the names because I think that these are obviously one for one are never going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you're doing these names plus a player for Hellebuyck, I think that's a better trade in my mind than doing a Kemper and a worse player for a Hellebuyck, or a Gustafson and a worse player for a Hellebuyck, or a Bobrovsky and a worse player for a Hellebuyck type of thing. Like these guys are way closer to the Hellebuyck tier right now with how he's playing and where we expect the bounce back to be. That I feel like you're not gaining as much if you're doing a trade like that as opposed to getting this tier of goalie to Hellebuyck. Obviously, you have to
Yeah.
give to receive as well, so you have
That's
to
the
make
tough
sure that
thing.
the thing is realistic.
It's just he was
But
a lot of people. He was pretty much anyone who has Hellebuyck on their team. He was probably their first round pick.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that
Yeah.
unless you give them someone with enough upside where they're like, okay, like I want to get out of Hellebuyck, but like I'm actually getting something in return. Otherwise, they'll be like, I'd rather just hold Hellebuyck and just pray that he becomes back to where he's at. So I think you
Yeah,
have
but
to give more than the targets you listed. But I also get not wanting to give too much because Winnipeg sucks right now. So it's
they're the
tough.
worst team in the league. So I
Yeah.
feel like you probably have to give more, but you shouldn't have to give that much more given the situation right now. Like you're playing the market as well, and right now in the market of goalies, like Hellebuyck is just he's a nuisance to your team every week
Yeah.
because he's just
What
not
about like a
giving you
Jeremy
anything.
Swayman? I feel like that's a good target.
But he's not doing that hot right now enough
Okay,
that like
fair.
it's like might as well just hold Hellebuyck at that point
That's
too, right?
fair.
Like I looked at the
What
guys,
about
but
like you think there's any could Decord be a piece or you think that's too low?
I
'Cause, I mean,
think Seattle
I'd
just doesn't
rather
have the pull.
that's fair. Yeah.
I'd rather have Hellebuyck, but so if you can swing a Decord for Hellebuyck in a package, like a 2-for-1 or something, like I would do that slam dunk to me.
Yeah.
But
I also
But it might be too low
yeah.
to get it done.
I
because if you
also
look
think
at
you could
Wolf,
give a
like Wolf has been
player.
actually really really solid.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't mind giving like a player for Hellebuyck too. Someone, who was drafted like kind of high and is well, I wouldn't say
Mm.
underperforming, as we said he's been pretty decent lately, but would you give like a Clayton Keller for a Hellebuyck?
I think I'd rather
I
have
mean,
Clayton Keller.
I'd rather have Keller. Yeah.
What about
What about
Gensel?
like a
No, I'd rather have Gensel.
no? I'd rather have Genso. What about like a Patrick Kane?
No,
Yeah, I
see,
mean that's what
that's
I was
too low
thinking.
to me.
I have Kane, but
Yeah,
like I just
Like,
don't see that like happening, right? Like I mean, like you think Kane plus Decord could get done? Like I just don't see that happening.
I
I
think
think
it's
you have to
feasible,
give.
honestly.
I think you have to give a third or fourth round guy who's been somewhat inconsistent or underperforming.
I don't think I'd want to give that because I think Hellebuyck rest of the
Yeah.
season is probably a third or fourth round guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm buying him at
So
his ceiling.
So that's the kind of like hard thing with this because I think we all agree that Hellebuck's a big buy low. The question is how
Yeah.
much do you believe in him to bounce back, and then you have to like send someone accordingly. And it's also just with such tremendous name value like Hellebuck does, you don't want to get in the position where you have to overpay for this buy low, right? But at the same time, if you
It's a
Yeah.
buy
don't,
low.
yeah, but
If you're
like, I
paying for
mean,
Hellebuyck at full price and he doesn't go back to full price, then you're
yeah,
just
no,
making a bad move for
exactly.
your fantasy team, right?
Exactly. So you need to be paying a low enough price, but also it has to be high enough that it could actually get done, which is just tough
Mhm.
with this level of player. So it's and you
Yeah,
throw
it
in the
is.
fact that it's a goalie and there's always it's
Yeah.
always a bit more complicated with goalie trades. People are very attached to their goalies. But at the same time, people can hate their goalies when they underperform. So it's tough. All your targets would be big wins. It's just I'm not sure if they're actually feasible. But look, the worst thing you can do is do your due diligence and see if the Hellebuck owner
Yeah.
in your league is kind of desperate to get out of that.
I
Yeah.
think from what I noticed about like us talking about trades for our league of record and like just between us and on the podcast, and then seeing the type of trades that people are able to pull off in the Discord, I think that we're being a lot more strict than what the sentiment is on these players in general.
I've
So
noticed that too. Yeah, I think essentially other
in
leagues are much like easier to trade in than
yes,
our league.
somebody I was helping somebody in the Discord literally last night make a trade, and I was like, oh man, if you could send this 2-for-1, it'd be great. He ended up sending a 1-for-1, so not even a full package of what I suggested. He traded Leo Carlsson for Jack Hughes.
That's crazy.
Because a lot of people on this is not, there's no one practice better than the other, but if you're looking at season stats and just like the season totals, like a lot of the numbers can be misleading, right? People miss time or like they go through cold stretches. We like to look at like, the last 30 days average or 14 days average just to get a sense of like how well the player has been performing as of late, and using that as like, okay, like which direction are they going to go? Is their value supposed to be going up in the near future or down? But some people just look at the numbers, and when they look at the numbers on the season as a whole, you really get that like early season production baked into their live value, even if they're not performing at that level. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very
All
interesting
right.
one. JK, what do you got?
Yeah, it is for sure. So I have a little pop quiz before I get into mine. Who in the NHL has the most shots on goal this year?
is it your guy that's a buy low?
No.
Okay.
Okay, let me think.
Wait. I actually want to guess. Most shots on goal. Is it Celebrini?
No. Come on.
Okay. Whoa. Why do you
He's
look
like,
at
come
me
on.
like that?
No,
Is
yeah,
it
it's
McKinnon?
McKinnon.
I got it.
okay.
Yes.
Yes. Second most. It's not my
this
guy.
Okay.
Second
most is
most.
Jason Robertson.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Third most is my guy, one behind Jason Robertson. So that is crazy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
That is
keep with
crazy.
Josh's theme of the Ducks over here, and I'm going with Cutter Gauthier, third highest shots on goal in the NHL.
Crazy.
I don't want to dive too much into the team's recent performance because Josh already gave a really good overview, but one stark difference between Gauthier and Carlsson is that Gauthier is 3.8 shots on goal per game over the last 10, and Carlsson's at 2.1. This is in line with the game they play generally, but this does make Gauthier owners a little bit less bummed than Carlsson owners. Nevertheless, over the last 10 games, Gauthier has a 7.9 shooting percentage, and on the season, he's at a 12.2 shooting percentage. So that's brought down his averages tremendously, the most recent 10 games. It's a massive difference, and I've been a believer in the Ducks since the beginning, but they're not going to be consistent this year, even though I do think that they're going to edge into the playoffs. And it's very encouraging for me that even through ups and downs, Gauthier has the confidence to shoot the puck a lot. The Ducks are happy to let him shoot the puck a lot. And this is going to just be really, really great for when he starts scoring again. So my targets over here, I got Steven Stamkos, Brian Rust, Alexei, the GOAT Protus. Look at the numbers, Kevin. And Pavel inferior to Protus Dorofeev. And one more is Ivan Demidov. But that one was really tough to put. But I still think it's fair to have it. What do y'all think?
I think this
Did
is
you choose your
great.
targets just to make fun of me?
No.
I love it.
I put them both there. So Protus and Dorofeev are big time beer bet. That's
Yeah, but you said one
looking
was
very
inferior to the
interesting.
other.
Yeah.
What?
You said one was inferior to the other.
He is inferior to.
Anyways,
Listen,
talking about Cutter
Protus
Gauthier.
is a monster.
Don't keep talking
And I
about Protus
actually,
or
like,
Kevin's
I
camera's
put
gonna cut out.
Exactly. But like, look, like obviously it seems crazy to think about this because of how hot Gauthier was, but Protus is a 1.43 over the past 2 weeks, right? Demidov, also insane stats. He's at a 1.5 points per game over the last 2 weeks. And all these guys are doing it with like, I mean, I don't want to say it's lucky, but their teams are just performing way better than the Ducks have been. When the Ducks get back into form, I think that Gauthier is going to be a huge part of it, like Carlsson. And for now, the floor of having great shots is super nice to have. So
Yeah,
I think for me,
I love what you're saying.
Okay.
Now you go.
I was gonna say I agree with the Cutter Gauthier buy low. Obviously, I think he's a great buy low right now. But I do think that he started the season so hot that if you're buying low, expecting him to get back to that level, it's like Leo Carlsson. I don't think it's going to be what they were doing early season, right? I do think that there's a realm here where my expectation for him is like he ends around like a 0.85 points per game player. I think that's very realistic. Your targets though, is it crazy for me to think I want Brian Rust over Gauthier rest of season? Like I think I out of these names, I want Rust and Dorofeev over Gauthier rest of season. And to me, it's because I think, yeah, Gauthier has insane shots, but I think the points are going to be pretty close. I think Rust gets close to a point per game, which I think he does almost every year. His shots are going to be around 3, which Gauthier will beat that, which is still exceptional. But the power play, I like it more as well. So more points, more power play points. Dorofeev, I feel like is in the same boat. Like he might get slightly less points, but way more power play points. And the shots are still elite for Dorofeev, where they're hovering around 3. That I'm still happy with that over him. So, but Stamkos, I would flip in a heartbeat. Protas, I would flip in a heartbeat. Demidov, I would flip in a heartbeat. So if those can get the deal done, then I'm laughing.
Yeah. So for again, fully agree with the buy low. In terms of the targets, definitely Stamkos, Protas, Demidov are the easy ones. Demidov actually at first I was like, but he's been so good. But I'm like, no, that's exactly why it's a great sell high, buy low.
Yeah.
So no, those are
Yeah.
great. In terms of Dorofeev, I'm taking Gauthier over him. I like this. I think that I think Dorofeev will get significantly more power play points, but I think the points are going to be similar, and I think the shots difference is just like Dorofeev. Let's say he gets 3.1 shots, something like that. Like Gauthier getting almost 4 shots a game is just so elite at that level that if their points are similar, I'm willing to take that, even if the power play points aren't necessarily the
I'm
same.
taking extra 0.3 power play points or extra 0.25 power play points over like 0.89 shots.
I mean, if you think that they're ending at the same amount of points, then I could see that. I think Gauthier is getting more points than Dorofeev as well. So I think that, and I also think the shots could be like a full shot difference, something like that, or like 0.8 shots. So for all those reasons, I'm taking Gauthier over Dorofeev, but I can see your point of view on that one. And then Rust's an interesting one where he's such a clear sell high right now, and the question is, can you aim higher than Gauthier, or is this a good one? And in terms of points, I see Rust ending at like 0.9 to 0.95. And then power play points, Rust obviously will have the edge, and then shots, Gauthier has the huge edge. So I'm still leaning with Gauthier. I also think Rust is super squishy, so I kind of want him off my team at this point, like especially with how well he's been doing. Obviously, Penguins have a great playoff schedule, so that's something to keep in mind. But I like all the targets. The two I agree with Kevin that the two I'm most wary of are Rust and Dorofeev. Like you
Yeah.
may be able to get. Honestly, Dorofeev, I think like that. This is like a perfect buy low, sell high. Like I think like it doesn't feel great right now, but I think it would be great. Rust, I think you may just be able to get more for him, but I'm still happier with Gauthier. So I like all the targets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay,
a fun one. The Ducks.
it is a fun
In 2
one.
weeks from now, I'm really excited for the review because we'll see
Yeah,
where the Ducks are at, and
for
it's going
sure.
to be really
Yeah,
interesting.
I would love to have Gauthier. I would be targeting him in trades for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, let's go to our sell highs. My sell high for this week is Big Val Nichushkin of the Colorado Avalanche. So over the past month, Nichushkin is averaging 1.08 points per game with 0 power play points. For most of the year, Nichushkin has been kept off power play 1, but now he's finally getting the chance. So why am I recommending to sell him now when he's finally getting the shot and he's shown that he could get over a point per game without the power play? So he should only be going up, right? Well, firstly, the Avs have the 31st ranked power play in the league. It's baffling
It's
with all their
crazy.
star power how they could be so bad, but it's been an issue for them for a while. Because of these struggles, the coach has been swapping players on and off all season with nobody being safe other than McKinnon and Makar. Even Natchez got bumped off. In the current iteration, Natchez is not power play 1. Nobody is safe other than McKinnon and Makar. I don't trust anyone other than those two players to hold on to power play 1 rest of the season. And even with the deployment, their power play is not even very good. So I think people are putting a lot of stock in who's power play 1 on Colorado, who gets to play on that power play unit. Oh, someone's power play 1, I have to grab him, But like, it's not even a good power play. If it's like see people getting excited because someone's on, power play 1 of Calgary, right? Like it's not an exciting power play, which is very counterintuitive based on the players who are there. So if you can sell Nichushkin while he has elite deployment and has been putting up great numbers, he has enough name value that you should be able to get someone solidly on a much stronger power play 1 unit. So some targets I'm looking at, Adrian Kempe. We've been talking about him as a buy low for a while. He's looking like he's honestly power play 2 right now, but I don't expect that to stick long term. Jesper Bratt is the bias low of the buy lows in the existence of buy lows. If he wasn't on Kevin's team, I would be sending daily offers to the Bratt owner with every player on my team who I think is worse than Bratt, which is a lot. But yeah, so Bratt would be a huge one. Ovechkin, we highlighted as a buy low last week. He's been turning it up a bit, but I still think it's potentially could get done. Seth Jarvis is an interesting one. I think it seems like he might not be out as long as people expected. But honestly, if you have the room for the IR stash, I would much prefer Jarvis over Nichushkin. So these are kind of targets I'm looking at.
Yeah, I actually really like the way that we're looking at this now, because we always target power play 1 overall, and it's just shocking to me that a team this elite has had such a horrible power play. And I don't think there's any way that Nichushkin supplants Natchez with McKinnon even strength. And they're usually both right wing. I know Nichushkin could kind of go to the other side, but Landeskog, McKinnon, and Natchez seems like it's like a pretty solid line. And that to me is clearly more meaningful than the power play, where 31, that's just nuts. I can't believe that's actually the case. So I really like this as a suggestion, and I agree with all the targets as well. And I think they're attainable.
Yeah, I think also he's the perfect player to try to send for those IR stashes. Like I'm thinking even JT Miller I think is a good target because I'd much rather have JT Miller rest of the season, especially in the Bangers League and with that playoff schedule. And Nichushkin, like the thing is it's tough too because what if Nichushkin on PP1 is what solves that power play? And then that becomes like the floor of his value, right? Is that in the back of your mind that like not that this could be making a mistake or like you're not worried about that risk at all of
I'm
like if
really not.
Nichushkin actually gets the good deployment and it sticks, you're not worried about that.
First of all, I
Not
think there's like
compared to the
zero.
targets.
First of all, yeah, compared to the targets, you're aiming high enough that I'm happier with them, even if
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
sticks. And I really see, like, I'm willing to beer bet anyone that Nichushkin within, let's say, 3 weeks, he won't be power play 1. If either of you feel confident that he's sticking on the power play, I'll take that bet because I've been watching those
Yeah.
lines all season, and in 1 week to the next, 1 day to the next. Look about last week. You guys were roasting me for taking Troy Terry over Gabe Landeskog because I said Landeskog's not going to be power play 1 within 2 weeks. And what happens? 2 days later, Landeskog's not on power play 1.
Yeah.
There's no one who's safe other. And I honestly, I didn't even see coming the Natchez bump off. I didn't realize it was that bad, but there's literally no
Yeah.
one safe on that unit other than McKinnon and Carr. So I'm putting zero stock into that. But I think a lot of people just look at daily face-off. They check, they see who's on power play 1. They're like, oh, Nichushkin power play 1 over a point per game of the past month. Only upside was 0 power play points. Like it's such a good story to sell that you can definitely get a big step up in return.
Because I
Yeah.
think I'm just putting myself in the shoes of like the listeners who have Nichushkin on their team. They're like they've been holding, they've been reaping the rewards for the last month. He just scored a hat trick,
Yeah.
and he had PP1 during that game, even though none of the goals were on the power play. So you're like, okay, like finally, like the deployment is here, so even better for my guy. And now we're telling them like, no, he got it for one game, he succeeded, but it's not gonna last.
Yeah.
So I just like I agree with you, but I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of like the people listening to this and being like,
Well, that's
listen,
what
it
sell
feels
highs
so
are
good right
never
now, but
comfortable, you know? Like if you're feeling super comfortable in a sell high, then that probably means that everyone else can see from a mile away that he's a sell high and you're not going to
yeah.
get anyone for him. If you're kind of wary about it, that means that he's going to have name value and pull in a trade. And like
To
I will
me,
also
Jesper
say
Bratt is my favorite target.
I will also say one more thing for Nichushkin is there's also always the question mark of like, will he get injured? Will he do something stupid and end up, suspended or
Mhm.
something like that, like just disappear? Like, when was the last time this guy played a full season, right? So that's an added risk
Mhm.
that I'm just happy to get off my team.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think Jesper Bratt is like we haven't highlighted him this episode, so because we always try to change the names every episode so that we're highlighting new players that have opportunities to be traded for. But if you've been listening, guys, we talked about Jesper Bratt so much. Like he's the breaking point of early season where we were just like, listen, week after week after week, buy him low. I think Nichushkin for Jesper Bratt is a slam dunk trade if you can pull that off, and I think it's really feasible right now.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, in a way, it seems like the most. Well, I guess Jarvis has been hurt, so I'll kind of take him out of the equation. But between Kempe, Bratt, and Ovechkin, I feel like Bratt's the most attainable and can have the best reward. So I
Yep.
also think it's the best target.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, who do you got for
Okay.
us on your sell high?
All right. My sell high is my favorite player. Psych. Now, I'm going to talk about MacKenzie Weegar of the Calgary Flames. Now, listen, it feels crazy to talk about Weegar in this category because of how bad he's been this year. Last season, he was averaging 0.58 points per game. This season, he's averaging 0.35 points per game. However, over the last month, he's at 0.75 and 1.2 points per game over the last 2 weeks. So on the
Damn.
season, he's at 0.35, and over the last 2 weeks, he's at 1.2. So it kind of just shows that like a lot of his production this year has been over like the last month. And yes, his bangers are still elite. Although his hits are, I would say, over the last few weeks, less than you would expect, but that happens even with the best banger guys. But I wanted to highlight Weegar because I think Calgary is a bad team. His offensive capabilities this year are cooked. And I just don't think that he's going to live up to the reputation that he had before the year started. Like, he was a top 5 draft pick for defenseman, and I think he was considered the biggest bust of the season because you thought you were getting like basically a Mo Sider type of player where the bangs are elite. He's got power play 1 and maybe not the most points, but still something there. Now you got 0 points the whole season, no power play, and the bangs are still great. So I think MacKenzie Weegar right now is just like, he's finally living up to, let's say, the name value that he had and the draft pedigree that he had. But this 2-3 week sample size is not convincing me that I want him on my roster rest of the season. And I think it's giving you a window to trade him and capitalize on, the perceived value of what he was supposed to be and get somebody actually consistent on your roster. I think I put this very similar to like the Thatcher Demko trade that I suggested a few weeks ago. We just talked about on the podcast where, Vancouver is a bad team. He is not the same guy he used to be. He had a stretch of like 2 weeks where he performed exceptionally, and people were like, all right, he's got the name value. We know, we saw it in the past. Like, he's back, guys. And then it becomes abysmal again. I'm not saying Weegar goes straight back to zeros, but I don't think it's going to be nearly good as this. Like, last year was probably an amazing year for Weegar. He didn't even get 0.6 points per game. Now he's doubling that over the last 2 weeks. Guys, get him off your roster right now. Capitalize on it. I think you can get star talent on your team. If you can still get Quinn Hughes, he just had a 4-point game, so I feel bad mentioning him, but like, I still think if you look at the averages, it's somewhat feasible. And if that team needs bangers, then that's maybe even better. Sanderson, I think, is the perfect target right now, guys. Like, he's my favorite defenseman to target as a buy low right now. I think Jake Sanderson has way better days ahead of him. We talked about the inconsistencies, but I'm super confident that I want him in my roster over MacKenzie Weegar. I think you can get McAvoy plus right now. I think you can get Chikrin plus right now. I think you can get Morrissey plus right now. All these guys, Weegar was drafted ahead of them in the draft. Now, these guys have been better than him for most of the season, but right now he's better than all of them. So I think there's a rare opportunity to capitalize on a guy that you almost dropped earlier in the season.
Yeah, like this is the banger management Cinderella story that I was referring to earlier. Kevin, I checked. He was your choice in week 5, okay? And at the time, the
To buy
targets
low or to sell high?
to buy low, and now
Okay.
he's a sell high. So it's like
there you go. Week 5 was a long time ago.
Exactly, but the targets at the time, you had Lacombe, Miro Heiskanen, Trouba, and like Morgan Riley and Darnell Nurse. And now we're talking about, and that made sense at the time.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense at this time right now that you're thinking of, I mean, Quinn Hughes is a bit tough, but Sanderson, McAvoy, Chikrin, Morrissey, all of these guys are like so much more elite than the ones that you were talking about. And it's like, this is really tough for the Weegar owner because, you were just talking about this, like similarly with Nichushkin, you held him all year, you drafted him high, and now it's like finally time he's producing. Wow, I can't believe I've waited so long for this. And like to actually to get over the hump, the mental hump, and just being like, okay, yeah, now I got to sell him. It sucks, but you can get way better return. And I mean, it's nice to see that he's done well, but it's just the crux of all of this is that Calgary sucks and he's not going to be what he was last year. And I think there's a huge opportunity. So I really like this choice.
Yeah, I fully agree with it. I love the targets. Obviously, the Quinn Hughes 4-point night, I think, kind of puts the the end to that one because he has been really bad. But now there's no way. I just don't see it. Sanderson's the perfect target, as you said. I think that can get done. And then all these other ones, I'd rather them over Weegar. So if you can get them plus, that's just a bonus. But even 1-for-1, I would take them.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Jakey, take us home.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not just choosing this one to prove to the listeners that we're not homers. Although it is a nice bonus. I'm going with Noah Dobson of the Montreal Canadiens, which I still like to hear because he is a good player, but there are reasons that he's a sell high in fantasy. And here we go. Dobson has been on absolute fire lately, and this coincides with the Canadiens being a very high scoring team in the month of December. Over the last month, the Habs have been scoring at 3.44 goals per game pace, whereas in the previous month, they were at 3.16 goals per game. They also sit at second in the NHL in shooting percentage at 13.1. That's basically double Cutter Gauthier's, by the way. I'm just saying. So right there, we can see some team-wide potential for regression. I'm signaling out Dobson here because there's no clear path for him to hit power play 1 unless there's a Hudson injury, who also, I think Layden Hudson is a sell high because he's even better than Dobson, but at least Hudson has the power play 1. Additionally, we have a very similar case to look at from this year, which is Chychrun and Carlsson on Washington, who are performing at an elite level. And we said at the time that one, if not both, were bound to regress, and both of them have, particularly Carlsson, who is power play 2. At least with the Washington example, both D-men were on power play 1 at the time that they were performing really well. But for the Habs, it seems to be centered on them being a super high scoring team as of late, and Dobson benefiting greatly from that, even though he's power play 2 the entire time. There are many selling points for this, such as the Habs have a lot of injuries, so their slump in their slump from November was normal. And also, now that basically they paid Dobson more money than Hudson, so they're going to keep giving him top minutes and opportunities for success. However, with all that, as we like to say on the podcast, a lack of power play 1, especially for defensemen, is really going to hinder his potential. If there were ever an injury to Hudson, God forbid, then Dobson becomes a top 10 fantasy defenseman. But at the time of this recording, Hudson has yet to miss a game in his entire NHL career. Cool sunglasses emoji. And Dobson is, air quotes, unfortunately being relegated to being a top tier IRL D-man that makes a real positive difference for the Canadians, but he's simply overperforming 1.33 points per game over the last 2 weeks and 0.5 power play points in that span on power play 2. What? Makes no sense. So some good targets here. There's probably going to be some overlap with the Weegar choice, but they're good choices overall. Yeah. Jacob Chychrun, Matthew Schaefer, Shane Gostisbehere, if healthy by the time you hear this, because I do think he's going to overtake Nichushkin on the power play 1 when he comes back, I hope. Josh Morrissey, and just to sprinkle in a forward over here, Adam Fantilli. What do y'all think?
Yeah, this is a great one. I will say 2 notes. One is you're probably not going to find a power play 2 defenseman who gets more power play time than Dobson in the league, but I still agree with all this. But I'm just saying he does get a surprising amount of power play time for a power play 2 defenseman. Again, still fully agree. And then also the fact that Habs have been injured may be being what's boosting Dobson, because you have a guy like Caden Gooley out. That's just way more minutes that have to be spread around to the other defensemen. Gooley should be back within the next few weeks, which should bring Dobson down in terms of the back cats at least, because he'll be playing less of those, minutes where he would be blocking shots type of thing. So definitely fully agree with all this. All these targets I would take over him. I think Chychrun's probably the best. Chychrun or Morrissey are the 2 best ones, and I think you can get those done. But yeah, I would take all these guys over Dobson, so I like it a lot.
I knew Dobson was going to be a sell high when I think he played Josh like 2 weeks ago, and Josh, I saw the meltdown happen in the group chat. And it was
the
just
guy put up the same amount of points as McDavid. McDavid had a 5-point game, and Dobson put up the same amount of points as him over that week. It's ridiculous, but I'm over it.
Yeah. So I knew this was coming, and I'm happy that Jakey got to talk about it on the podcast. And yes, guys, we are Habs fans, but it's always fantasy over everything, right? So I love this pick. I think your targets are great. I was gonna say my favorites are also, like, I think Chychrun right now and Josh Morrissey are the ones that I would love to target because they're a little bit of buy lows in their own right. So yeah, just nothing else to add, but I love this pick, Jakey.
Yeah.
Thank you. Schaefer is the one I was like, I kind of want him the least because the Islanders, I don't even
They're
know
still good, but
what's going to happen.
He was very popping off early season, and it's
but he's also going to be the toughest to acquire. So he's like the last resort here.
I don't think he's the toughest to acquire.
You don't think so? Like, feel like with
I
the
still
name
think Chychrun and Morrissey are harder to acquire.
Chychrun and Morrissey, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Listen, like those are the top names to go for, I would say, and Gostisbehere also. It's like, it's kind of annoying, especially with the injury. But
I would love that. I think that's very feasible.
Yeah, it could be a really good swap. And I feel like the Dobson owner would be even like hesitant to do that, but don't be like, you should, and you'll get back a power play one guy who's been really decent all year. So yeah. Okay. Love this episode. This is the first one since I've been back. So
I was gonna say,
very
Welcome
hyped.
back.
Very hyped. Thank you to everybody for listening to Week 14 Buy Low, Sell High. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and give this video a like. Also, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. People listen and don't subscribe. It's one button and helps us tremendously. And where that gives good vibes is that it makes us happy.
that too. And
So
also,
that made no sense. That made
I loved it.
it doesn't have to make sense. Like a lot of movies we love, but yeah. Don't forget to watch Wedding Crashers, guys. Exceptional movie.
Yeah. All of the socials are in the podcast description and as well. And be sure to join the Discord community. Talk about vibes. They are great over there. So yeah. Take it away.
Take it away, Ernie.
Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Wow, wow, wow.
Woo!
Wow, you didn't even
Not
do
putting
it.
up
You
with
didn't
the
do the
BS.
thing.
No.
He's over it.